We are kicking things off right now with the drama surrounding UFC welterweight contender Sean Brady. Brady just returned to the win column with a massive victory over Joaquin Buckley at UFC 328, but this win came with a major whisper of controversy. We dive deep into what happened when Sean Brady confronted by the promotional brass over suspicious betting activity right before the fight, and what Chief Business Officer Hunter Campbell told him about the shifting odds that made everyone question everything.
Stop using your finger for notes, sketches, and edits. This Jam Jake stylus pen gives your iPad a smoother, more precise writing feel with palm rejection so your hand can rest naturally on the screen. It charges fast, works for hours, and comes with replacement tips. Perfect for school, work, or creative projects. Check the link in the comments to grab it on Amazon.
Next up, we look at the shifting landscape of the UFC and the ambition of Nate Diaz. Diaz is still plotting his Conor McGregor trilogy, but he's not chasing that comeback story anymore, and he just dropped some serious heat on Dustin Poirier. We break down exactly what it will take for Nate Diaz to finally finish that trilogy against Conor McGregor, and why he's focusing his energy on fighting the absolute best competition, not just chasing the biggest comeback narrative. Now we turn our attention to the heavyweight division and the massive upset at UFC 328. Dricus du Plessis couldn't contain his excitement after dethroning Khamzat Chimaev, and he's declaring himself the new world champion. We examine du Plessis's reaction to beating Chimaev and what this victory means for his reign, especially when we look at the broader context of the fight card. Finally, we pull back the curtain on the complex ties surrounding Khamzat Chimaev and the UFC's relationship with Ramzan Kadyrov. We explore the serious implications of Chimaev flaunting his relationship with the Chechen dictator, and how the UFC's decision to allow him to compete normalizes deeply troubling political associations. Stay with us as we unpack the fallout and what this means for the future of the sport. UFC welterweight contender Sean Brady has publicly confronted the promotion following concerns over suspicious betting activity surrounding his upcoming fight at UFC 328. Brady, who secured a decisive victory over Joaquin Buckley on the main card, returned to the octagon after a knockout loss at UFC 322, showcasing elite Brazilian jiu-jitsu to neutralize Buckley's offense. However, the victory was overshadowed by betting irregularities that surfaced just before the event. Reports indicated a significant betting swing in favor of Buckley shortly before UFC 328, despite Brady being listed as a modest favorite entering the fight week. This followed a pattern of odd betting fluctuations in recent UFC events. In an interview with the Ariel Helwani show, Brady detailed a conversation he had with UFC Chief Business Officer Hunter Campbell regarding these shifts. Brady stated that he was unaware of the situation until his team alerted him. Campbell reportedly reached out to Brady to check on his well-being, asking if everything was physically and mentally all right, and inquiring about the betting issues. Brady expressed initial confusion and unease, noting the unsettling nature of the situation before ultimately refocusing on the fight. While rumors had previously circulated regarding other fighters, including speculation surrounding Michael Johnson's previous loss, there is currently no evidence suggesting any wrongdoing on Brady's part. Following his win, Brady is positioning himself to pursue a potential title shot in the latter half of the year. The incident has highlighted the ongoing scrutiny surrounding betting in major combat sports. Nate Diaz has clarified his intentions regarding a potential trilogy fight with Conor McGregor, emphasizing that he is not pursuing it as part of a comeback narrative. Diaz stated he has no desire to be the first opponent McGregor faces upon his return, particularly given McGregor's recent setbacks, including a broken leg. Diaz expressed a desire to fight the absolute best competition, citing his interest in facing fighters like Mike Perry, whom he respects for dismantling top talent. Diaz was shocked by being booked for a fight against Mike Perry on the Ronda Rousey vs. Gina Carano card, rather than setting up a McGregor rematch. While acknowledging the UFC offered a better financial package, Diaz made it clear he does not want to be involved in McGregor's comeback story. "I'm not done with Conor McGregor," Diaz told MMA Fighting, but he believes McGregor needs to prove himself first. Diaz suggested that if McGregor returns and performs well, Diaz would be willing to fight him, stating, "I want to fight somebody at their best, not at their worst." Regarding Dustin Poirier, Diaz remains interested in a fight but stressed that Poirier must be actively competing. Diaz told Poirier that he would welcome a fight but warned against Poirier retiring prematurely, stating, "I'm not trying to fight no retired dude. I'm trying to fight the best." Diaz reiterated his commitment to only fighting top-tier competition, emphasizing that he seeks numbered fights against the best fighters in the world, regardless of financial incentives. He concluded by asserting his belief that he has fought more top-5 ranked opponents than any champion, solidifying his focus on elite competition. Dricus du Plessis erupted in celebration following Khamzat Chimaev's defeat to Sean Strickland at UFC 328, declaring that the result had propelled him back to world championship status. Chimaev lost his middleweight title to Strickland via split decision in the main event held at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Du Plessis had previously faced Strickland twice in title bouts, notably losing his belt to Chimaev at UFC 319. Du Plessis had predicted that Strickland would secure the victory over Chimaev, and his prediction proved accurate. Speaking to the UFC, Du Plessis confirmed his expectations, stating, "Fight went exactly the way I thought it would. Great fight by Strickland. Like I said, it's so hard to keep that man on the ground. He is incredibly tough to hold down, and he made Khamzat tired, and that's exactly what happened. I knew, and like I said in the stand-up, Chimaev just won't be able to hang with him. Congratulations. I guess this makes me world champion again." Du Plessis was visibly elated, seen celebrating immediately after the scorecards were announced, and Strickland's hand was raised, cementing the victory in a significant moment for the Brazilian fighter. MMA star Khamzat Chimaev's recent professional defeat at UFC 328 sparked significant controversy regarding his alleged ties to Chechen dictator Ramzan Kadyrov, raising questions about the normalization of ties between elite sports and controversial political figures. Following his loss to Sean Strickland, Chimaev's reaction was notably subdued, contrasting sharply with his usual displays of bravado, which frequently include the slogan "Akhmet Sila," a phrase widely interpreted as signaling allegiance to Kadyrov. This relationship has drawn scrutiny, especially given Kadyrov's history, including being under U.S. sanctions since 2017 and documented human rights abuses in Chechnya, such as abductions and extrajudicial killings. Sports journalist Karim Zidane expressed concern that the UFC's decision to allow Chimaev to compete normalizes Kadyrov and, by extension, Russian President Vladimir Putin and the regime's abuses. He noted that the organization has historically avoided consequences for promoting fighters associated with sanctioned individuals as long as profit margins are not impacted. Chimaev's connection to Kadyrov appears deep-rooted, stemming from his childhood amidst the aftermath of the First Chechen War and Kadyrov's alleged role in helping him return to life and pursue combat sports. Chimaev has publicly credited Kadyrov for this support, citing gifts and training opportunities. Despite Chimaev's global stardom and international moves, such as competing in the UAE and later returning to U.S. competitions, his alignment with Kadyrov remains a point of contention. Chimaev has defended his association, stating his respect for Kadyrov as the president of his country. Analysts suggest this dynamic serves to project Kremlin's soft power while minimizing the regime's documented crimes. Furthermore, researchers point to Kadyrov's monopolization of the sport in Chechnya, creating a pipeline, such as the U.S.-sanctioned Akhmet Fight Club, into Kadyrov's security forces. The influence extends beyond Chimaev, with former fighter Khabib Nurmagomedov also having previously accepted invitations to meet with Kadyrov and Putin. Other figures, like Abdulkarim Edilov, have also been linked to Kadyrov's orbit, though Edilov's fate remains shrouded in mystery. Experts suggest Chimaev's trajectory, moving from hardship to global fame, highlights a choice to align with forces that brought suffering, questioning whether he could have chosen a different path. The situation underscores the complex intersection of international sports, regional politics, and human rights concerns.